Alright guys, I feel like talking about Wemby. Also, there's a sponsor in this vid. The Spurs have a good chance of finishing with the 2 seed. They've won 6 in a row. They have a 3.5 game lead on the Nuggets, projecting towards the playoffs. For Wemby, his minutes, how teams are going to guard him, stuff like that. As far as the minutes, he's averaging 29 minutes a game for the season. Last 15, it's a similar thing. Totally fair. He had a blood clot last season. He had a calf strain earlier this year. In an era where guys have to cover more ground than ever before, and also his per minute numbers are still amazing. They're like plus 12 net rating for the season when he's on the court. No issues right now with his minutes. I will say that one day, if they want to keep this up, it's not going to be as easy to do this when he is no longer on his rookie contract, because then you're just going to have a higher percentage of the cap dedicated to one guy. Duh. But for right now, you don't have to worry about that. But that's for the regular season. In the playoffs, I do wonder just what can we realistically expect? Because it's tough to imagine him going to 40 minutes a game in the playoffs, which is usually pretty normal for stars. He's hit 35 minutes 6 times this year, and they were all within the first 10 games of the year. And so for even as much as I love this team, even if Stephon Castle's probably the biggest X factor in the league for me the rest of the year, I mean, Harper just looking more experienced than a rookie, even if the day-to-day is still going to be a little up and down. Fox, of course, the court net minutes have been awesome. Keldon's a beast on the boards. The reality is, if Wemby is playing 35 minutes a game in a playoff series, and you are playing, I mean, right now they would, in round 2, be slated to play the winner of Nuggets-Wolves. If Ant or Jokic are playing 42 minutes a game at the least, that's just going to have to be an extra challenge for you. We'll see with the minutes. As far as what it's going to look like in the playoffs for Wemby, I assume he's going to be amazing. I assume the per-minute impact numbers are still going to be great. And as far as how teams are going to guard him, which is mostly what I'm going to focus on, but just to state the obvious, if you are facing Wemby in a playoff series and you do not have a way to get him out of the paint on defense, you might just be screwed. As far as the offense, so the Spurs may face the Suns if the Suns win the play-in tournament, which, I mean, they're a game and a half behind the Wolves. The Warriors are trying to hang on. We'll see if Porzingis ever plays. Clippers, Blazers. Anyway, the Suns, as we know, were the one team this year, they were the first team to kind of lock up Wemby. It was like Royce O'Neal and Goodwin a lot of the time, denying the ball. We're switching all screens. We're throwing doubles on you. Mark Williams is going to help off of mostly Harrison Barnes. And it worked. It was a bad game for Wemby, and it was a moment of did teams find the blueprint? And then he proceeded to have an amazing season up to this point. Before we get back to it, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. So the Celtics played the Spurs in March, and I think it would be a good game to go to. I've been to San Antonio before. I went for a convention. I had some nachos on the Riverwalk. They were pretty good. Anyway, if I wanted to go to that game or any concert or sporting event or festival or many things, then I would use SeatGeek as I have before, and it's always been a good time. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, and you can use my code FunkyDiabetic10 for 10% off your next order at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with code FunkyDiabetic10. SeatGeek rates deals on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Just look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Make sure to click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account. One more time, FunkyDiabetic10, 10% off SeatGeek. I have 3 seconds to spare. Shout out to you, man. Funny enough, they actually played the Suns in their first game after the break, and I wonder just what it's going to look like. But if they ended up facing the Suns in the 2-7 matchup, of course we'd all pick the Spurs to win that. But I also think it'd be a really nice, checklist opportunity for Wemby to be okay, I figured out how to go at this defense in the playoffs. OKC tries a similar thing, and the lasting image that I have of those two playing each other this year is on one end, Caruso missing threes with Wemby saying, go ahead. And on the other end, it's Caruso, being as physical as he possibly can be, and Wemby making this crazy fadeaway. That was in the quarterfinal of the in-season thing. Or wait, it was the semifinal. Whatever it was, you know what I mean. And OKC is probably the most equipped team in the league to throw any defensive anything you want at Wemby, whether it's Ihart, Chet, Kaysen, J-Dub, Dort, Caruso, anybody switching on him, swarming him, etc. And we know how that matchup has gone this year. The last time they played each other, OKC was sitting a bunch of guys. We're not going to put that one into a thing. And they pretty much just shut the Spurs down in that game from a month ago. The Thunder have been able to get Wemby to not take as many shots in some of these matchups. As for the Dubs, I mean, if Draymond was, I'll just say a bit younger, it would probably be one of the most fascinating one-on-one matchups you could think of in the league, but right now, it doesn't really hit the same. To be nice to Draymond, he did get Wemby to turn the ball over quite a few times in one of those early matchups where Wemby still scored a lot, but the Warriors won back-to-back. Steph went crazy in both games. But I don't really know what to do with the Dubs and the Blazers. And the last time Wemby played the Clippers, the Spurs were a totally different team, and the Clippers mostly just put Zubats on them, so I'm kind of putting that one in the wash. So now let's assume they win their round 1 series. And sure, in the playoffs again, there's going to be some Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, dare you to make jump shots questions. That's all fine. But we assume they're going to win their round 1 matchup. Round 2 is when it gets real crazy. Again, this is assuming they keep the 2 seed. A healthy Nuggets team is my pick to win the West and therefore win the finals. I don't know if they're going to be healthy. And for everything I just said, I think the Wolves could beat a healthy Nuggets team in a round 1 matchup. But if we do get a Spurs-Nuggets thing, so besides just how fascinating it would be for Wemby to just either guard Jokic on the ball or we find a way to use you as a help defender to where Jokic has to worry about you whenever he's got his back to the basket and all that. Weirdly enough, Aaron Gordon has actually not played Wemby since his rookie season. And, there was some interesting things there where, like, Wemby would have somebody else screen for him to where he could get, like, Murray or Jokic on a switch. Because going at Gordon, like, Gordon's one of those guys who you would give a chance to bother Wemby before he can get his shot up. Pretty much nobody can contest the guy's shot, but the least you could do is make him uncomfortable beforehand. But the Nuggets would still have to swarm him. It's not just going to be Aaron Gordon. And, I've said this before, a fully healthy Nuggets team starting 5's defensive rating is like 106 or something. That's a great number for them. But that'd be a good series. We will see with Gordon's hamstring. Now, if they ended up facing the Wolves, who right now are the 6th seed, but the West is all very close, 2 through 6, you know that. The one time Gobert was healthy, Wemby took a lot of jumpers, and Gobert, I think, contested most of them pretty well. There were some possessions late where it was like Jaden or Randall on him. At the other game, Gobert wasn't playing, and it was much easier for him to just kind of get whatever he wanted, mostly over Jaden or Randall. But I imagine the Wolves would prefer to put Gobert on Wemby, and then if stuff's going bad, we can move out of that. Now for the Lakers, early this season, the Lakers did have a very good defensive performance against Wemby, where they had their wings just on him and switching on him, and then they would just leave the opposite corner open, and Wemby wasn't making them pay for that pass enough. So it was like Rui, Laravia, Marcus was on him as well, of course. Do you believe the Lakers could do that multiple times in a playoff series? They're 23rd in defense for the year. They have been a 500 team for a couple months now. Austin just came back, that's good. But also the chess match of Luka in screens with Wemby just being somewhere on defense, most likely on Hayes or Ayton. That's also just really, really fun to imagine. And Reeves and LeBron as well, to be fair, but a lot of it would be Luka, of course. But I would pick the Spurs to win that series. But as of right now, they are not on the same side of the bracket. But we still have a lot of games to go. I really shouldn't even be too caught up on like what the actual seedings are right now. And then we think about the Rockets, where I can't avoid talking about the Rockets in this video, I'm sorry. So, earlier this season, not too long ago, they had like 2 games close to each other. First game, Wemby missed a good amount of jumpers over like Jabari, KD, a little bit of Şengün. The next time they played each other, he got a lot of those same shots, the fadeaways within the 3-point line, the face-ups, etc., and they fouled him a lot. And also, with the Wemby being able to camp in the paint stuff, I have to imagine that him helping off of Amen would be on Mitch Johnson's possible game plan, and I would just love to see the Rockets deal with that. But again, also depending on how many minutes Wemby plays in these games, and if it ends up being a little more of Kornet at center. Kornet's good, but he's obviously not Wemby. Again, we'll see with the minutes. I think that's about all I have. What was the takeaway of this? I don't know. We still have a good amount of games until the playoffs.